Welcome to Nightlight. Step away from the mainstream and gather around as we enlighten the world and our realities and travel this cosmic journey we call life. Join us as we share with you and provide that beacon that can guide us all to a better way. Explore with us as we examine a metaphysical montage of spiritual insights, covering everything from the mundane to the magical, UFOs to unicorns, and everything in between. This is a time of awakening, of sharing and evolving, of spreading our wings and soaring on the cosmic breath of creation. Come and join with other light-minded spirits as we weave our lights together to seek understanding, enlightenment, and, with a little luck, some wisdom. This is Nightlight, a reminder that you are never alone.
Welcome to Nightlight, everybody, and almost Happy New Year. Thanks for joining Jeannie and me again on an almost New Year's Eve. It's a fun way to celebrate and take a look at what's coming in the future, hopefully. And I want to thank everybody who has called in early. You really took me seriously, and we've got a good list of people that we're going to be tuning into tonight. I want to thank, first of all, though, Ken Quiethawk for his amazing intro. Please check him out on the internet. Just look for a native storyteller or Ken Quiethawk. You'll find him and his wife, and they are amazing. We're gonna do letter rip readings tonight, so I'm going to give people a fast look at what the next year is for them to come. And I really appreciate everybody that has called in. Thank you so much. A lot of you were here before I was tonight, which is quite a feat. So, going to jump right in. Hi, Brent. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, Barbara. Happy New Year to you.
To you too. I've got your cards out here, so
okay.
Take a deep breath. And just for you and for everybody that will come after you, this archive will be up on YouTube probably either later tonight or early tomorrow, so that if you don't grab everything I say, you can always listen in archive. And if you do that, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we're really trying to break our 1,000 subscriber mark, and we've got a ways to go, but every one of you counts. So I've got your cards. And the next year for you is going to be a very exciting year, because there's the element of duality here. That means that you are at a point in time where you are not only working within your physical reality, but your spiritual reality as well, so that there is a wonderful blend of the energies within you, which means you're going to be able to take on a lot more this next year than you had anticipated. There are new projects coming, and as the new projects start to unfold in the January timeframe, it feels as though your creativity is going to be challenged, and you're up for the challenge. So you have a lot of new things that are going to be happening, new directions, new beginnings. As you get into the February timeframe, there's a sense here of letting go of some of the quote-unquote garbage that you've been carrying. It feels like a lot of it's emotional. This is a good time to dump that emotional garbage and sort of clear your slate and start looking into new venues for you on an emotional level especially. This is a time for you to celebrate yourself, to get to be in touch more with that power and the energy that you carry within you. And as you get into the March time frame, there's an amazing healing that takes place here, as though you are finally coming to a healing place within yourself, which means that you can grow externally and manifest more than you ever have before. A very exciting time for you as you come into April. This is a time where you're bringing a lot of things together and you're finding missing pieces. It's a time in which you're understanding a lot of the purpose and the focus of this lifetime. And it does feel as though this is going to be a time when new people come into your life which enhance the potential that you have within yourself. In other words, people that whose energy blends with yours beautifully so that you can become more than you ever thought possible. As you come into the May time frame, there's a sense here also of focusing on yourself, making sure you're doing what you need to do for yourself, understanding that you're the one that needs to make the moves, that you're the one that needs to look within, you're the one that needs to shift and change your own perspective in order to enhance and make your reality a more exciting place. As you come into the June time frame, you got body, mind, spirit together. This is going to be an exciting year for you. It's going to be challenging. There's going to be a lot of work. There are going to be a lot of challenges, but you're up to every one of them. Just understand that with a sense of humor and your creativity, not only will you plow through, but you will make magic happen in your life, and it's an amazing thing. As you get into the June time frame, body, mind, spirit. July is a time where your creativity comes in here. Here's where your words carry far greater import and intensity than they ever have before. July is a time frame where creativity, both verbal and creatively, as far as graphic or writing or, I don't know, I see building engines and stuff like that. So it's going to be a time where, please don't take your car apart, but it's a time. It's a time in which you work on details and you really need to, you find the pieces that have been missing in a lot of areas of your life and take that in every different way possible. You're attracting new people as you come into the August time frame. There are new people coming into your life. It feels as though you're expanding your ability to work with different types of groups, and it feels as though there are several different groups here that you're working with, not just a singular group. And I do feel that there's a lot of very interesting energetic going on here in the August time frame. I think it's a time where were you female, I'd tell you to get new underwear. I don't know what to tell a man, but you get the gist. As you get into the September time frame, there's a sense here of new wisdom coming in here. I see you hitting the books. I see you doing research. I see you suddenly becoming interested in areas that you've never been interested before, and it does feel to me as though it expands your horizons greatly. October is a time where I do see you working hard. I see you rolling your sleeves up. It's like you don't take a break. Here's a month in which you almost become a workaholic to a certain degree, but only for a month, so it's not real serious. As you get into November, there's a sense here also of the spiritual and becoming more and more important to you. You're not going to put on a white robe and go to the mountaintop for sure, but it's a time in which you're able to incorporate spiritual philosophy into your everyday life that enhances your relationships, and it opens doors for you in professional directions that you had never thought. And as you come into December, here's where you have a new commitment to new directions. Your life is going to change dramatically over this next year, but it's all good changes. It's all enabling you to use some of the power and the talents and the skills that you haven't been able to draw upon to this point in time, but it's a very exciting time for you.
Wow.
Okay?
Thank you. God, that's amazing, as you are. I don't know how you do that, but you do it. Thank you.
Yeah, happily I don't have to think. That's the important thing. If I think,
you're in the flow. It feels like it flows.
Yeah, I start to stumble and then all hell breaks loose. But but thank you for calling. Happy New Year.
Same to
you. Keep me posted. My website, my website has my email on it. You can always give me feedback, and I love to hear feedback.
Sure,
so keep me posted.
Okay.
Take care now.
Have a good one. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Whew. Okay. Good beginning. Okay, so wait, while I'm spreading these cards, let me pull up Karen. Hi, Karen. How are you doing?
Hi. Hold on. Oh, gosh, I thought it was not now. That's wonderful. Hold on. All right, I just turned my volume up. I had it on speaker. Okay. Hi. Happy New Year.
Okay, speaker may not be a good idea because we get feedback.
No. It's not on speaker now. It was when you said my name. I took you off speaker.
Okay.
So I'm fine.
Okay. So you obviously know what a letter rip reading is because you just heard one. So
yeah. Wow.
Okay, you can't. You the rule is you can't talk. You just have to listen.
Nope.
It makes it much easier for me. So the next year for you is going to be a time frame where there's an element here of angelic energy around you. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the guys with angels and harps and halos, but it does mean that you are touching into that element within you that is connected to cosmic consciousness and the source of all creation. In other words, you've come to a place here where you're beginning to connect to that spiritual cosmic oneness that you carry within. Lots of people call it guardian angels, and sometimes it's because their higher consciousness has given them a hologram or a suggestion that there was a guardian angel, quote unquote, around them. You are attaching to this spiritual energy this year, and it's a very important year for you. I feel you've made a transition into a new level of understanding of your reality and your place within it, and how you and your destiny pathway, and a lot of other spiritual wisdom that is definitely here, so that as we come into the January time frame, you're going to find that you have what I call Phoenix Rising energy here. That means reborn out of the ashes of the old. That means letting go of old paradigms, old philosophies, and allowing yourself to embrace those that are of a greater nature and certainly a more intense spiritual nature. Again, you're not going to become a fanatic, but you are going to see reason and understanding for a lot of things that have happened in your life up to this point in time, and you're able to see, it's almost that you become a watcher of humanity, so that you kind of take yourself out of the turmoil that may well be going on in the January time frame, and you step back and you watch and you see what's happening, and you begin to see where truth has been hidden by shadows, and where shadows are dissipating, and you're beginning to see where truth is in not only within your life and your own personal activities, but within reality as well. It's going to be a really exciting time for you. A little discouraging from time to time when you're disappointed in things that you thought were carved in stone and turned out to not be. But it feels as though you're getting a greater grasp of the cosmic journey that you're on, which is a fascinating thing. I feel that your dreams are going to be far more active than they have been in the past year, and I do strongly suggest that you journal them down, because they will give you insight into not the literal translation of them, but you will get symbols that will relate to your life, and you'll be able to interpret them. It's going to be a very exciting time. February is a time where there's the element of transmutation. That means that you are shifting into a new way of looking at life and a way of living life, and it feels very exciting. You're letting go of a lot of the baggage that you've carried to this point in time, and you're allowing yourself to try some new things and go in some new directions. It's not going to be crazy stuff. There's no belly dancing here or anything like that. But there is the element of you trying things that you've said I always wanted to, and you never did. Well, this is the time to start some of those things. And if there's a musical instrument you wanted to try or get back to, if there's a foreign language you wanted to learn, your mind is becoming so much sharper that you're going to be able to learn things that you thought you couldn't in the past. As you come into the March time frame, there's a sense here of truth, of universal truth becoming really more and more clear to you as you look at not only your life and how your life has been unfolding, but the reality around you and what's going on around you. It's going to be a time in which you gain greater insight into the destiny of not only yourself but humanity as well. And it does feel as though there's an element here of surprise and sometimes shock. So it's going to be a very interesting time for you. As you come into the April time frame, the element of strength and power is here. The spotlight really falls on you, and people pay attention not only to what you do but what you say. So during especially the April time frame, be careful what you do and how you do it and what you say, because your words carry great power, and you're going to have to fulfill all the promises and or threats that you make. So make sure that what you say has great value, great strength, because it also has great power, whether or not you intend it or not. This also goes to, and I would underline this if I was writing this out. I'd underline it hundreds of times. You talk to yourself a lot. Make sure that you hear what you say to you, because it really is important. And it's you do talk to yourself a lot, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
not verbally.
Hey,
I mean, yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, no, mentally. Yeah, no, there's a great dialogue going on here. And it does feel as though sometimes when you go to bed, you can't go to sleep because that dialogue is still going on back and forth and reasoning and stuff like that. That will clear up and that will balance out. As you get into the May time frame, whatever you send out returns to you greatly magnified. So if you're sending out letters, if you're sending out requests, if you're sending out flyers, if you're just sending out energy to people that you love, this is also a time in which I strongly, strongly, strongly advise that if there are people in your life that have been important and you want to communicate with them, this is the time. And I would not send emails. I would sit down with pen and paper, send cards, send letters, however you want to do it. But this is a time to reconnect with the past, with people that have been important to you, and just sort of catch up with people that you haven't spoken to within the last year. And I do feel strongly that there are going to be people that pop into your mind and memory and you reconnect with. I recently, after 40 years, 50 years, decided to reconnect with my best friend from the 6th grade, and Jeannie helped me find her, and I did connect with her. It was really kind of cool. So it's going to be a time in which you really make reconnections. So it's almost as though you are completing a circle. It's almost as though you are bringing something to closure of some sort. So it's a really cool time for you. You've got all sorts of abundance as you come into the June time frame. And while abundance often, does mean money, but it also means energy. It also means friends. It also means abundance of opportunity, abundance of creativity. So, don't just think I'm going to win the lotto, because I'm not seeing it being, $1 million, in cash or anything like that. But there is, I'm not going to discount that there isn't a small financial just a windfall of some sort, but it doesn't look like you're going to be able to go around the world on it. So do understand that the abundance is on many different levels, but it's definitely here for the month of June. It also is a time in which if the projects that you start, you will finish. So even though it feels like it may be long term, you may not complete whatever projects you start in the June timeframe within the next 6 months, but you will complete anything that you start in the month of June. So be careful what you start. As you come into July, there's a sense of creating new foundations for yourself, your destiny, your progress. It's a time of new beginnings. It's building foundations. Other people may not see what you're doing because a lot of it is in your head. You do a lot of stuff in your head before you actually start to manifest. And this is a time where new foundations are laid, and it feels as though you spend a lot of time by yourself pondering new things that you want to bring into your life. The element of meditation, of whatever your choice is, whatever kind of meditation you like, I do strongly urge that you get back to it if you have wandered away from it, because the foundations are really important, and it does feel that you will be building a base to do a lot of new and exciting things. As you come into the August time frame, here's where you're working very hard at making changes. I think you're going to drive people around you crazy, because you're going to have to reorganize everything. It feels as though you're getting into reorganizing rooms and closets and drawers and purses and closets, and there's a sense here of needing to reorganize everything, almost as though you're checking and making sure you haven't lost something. But you're not looking for anything in particular. You're just looking for a greater sense of order in your life. A really, really wise woman once said to me, if your closet is in order, so is your life. And it's true. It's absolutely true. I never would have thought my cleaning lady was a wise woman, but she actually was, and it's a true statement. as you come into the September timeframe, there's a sense here of there's a sense of legalities here. I'm not seeing you being sued, but I am seeing you looking for justice and balance in your life in many different ways. And I do feel that you are taking your power back from people that you have given it to. And that's not fighting. That's just taking your power back and saying, nope, I'll make my own choice. Nope, I'll make my own decision. Thank you for your information. I'll take it from here. That kind of thing. You may be signing some legal papers, but it could be as little as a warranty on a new toaster or a new car or something like that. But the element of legalities is here. October has a sense here of a blending together of creativity and healing, so that it feels as though if ever I feel Reiki energy here. So if you do Reiki, you'll increase it. If you have no interest in it, it's that kind of energy that emanates from the body. You don't have to be a certified practitioner of anything because you have amazing energy. And so that you don't need training, you just need intent, and your energy can certainly do a lot of things for not only yourself but the people around you. Again, this element of angelic energy, It's spiritual energy. It's strong spiritual energy. I think greatly from what I'm seeing here is you work with spiritual energy a lot. There's a tremendous amount of quote-unquote magic, and to me magic is being able to utilize the spiritual energy within you to help to not necessarily heal other people, because we don't have that power. We can send energy, but they have to take it and use it. We can't direct it for them. But what I'm seeing here is you have a great deal of spiritual energy within you, and I feel that there's a sense here of sharing your experiences with other people, and in that sharing you bring healing to yourself and possibly trigger enlightenment within them. So I'm not saying that you're a teacher any more than I'm a teacher. I put this out there and people take what they have to and they utilize it. But I do feel that you are sharing special wisdom. You have a tremendous amount of insight and wisdom within you. And as you get into the December timeframe, there's a sense here of setting yourself free from the limits that you have imposed upon yourself. Hear that exactly. You set yourself free from limits you have put upon yourself. You play I doubt it a lot, and the reality is you've prevented yourself from taking some steps that are very important for you. I see you beginning to fly. I see you beginning to come into a greater sense of your own power, and certainly the next year is going to be a profound year for you. Okay?
Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
You're so welcome. Again, give me feedback. My website is barbaradelong.com, and there's a place there where you can send me an email. And if I've hit things, it's really cool for me to get feedback, so that I make sure I'm not just a babbling idiot here on the air every so often.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care now, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. You as well.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay, now we've got Dee Dee. Hi, Dee Dee. How are you doing?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. Happy New Year.
Oh, to you too. This is the greatest way to celebrate New Year. Jeannie and I have done this every year for a very long time, and we get to the point where it's coming up, and she says, "Well, are we doing it again?" And I don't think every now and then it's like, "Oh God, is anybody going to call in? Am I going to talk to myself for 2 hours?" And she keeps assuring me we'll get calls, and my goodness, we did. So, you're familiar with Let Her Rip, I take it. So
yes, let it rip. Let it rip.
Okay. All righty. So this next year is going to be one of commitment for you. It feels as though you're committing yourself to making changes. You've talked about them for a long time, but it does feel as though you haven't really, taken the first step in many directions. So what I'm seeing here is that this is going to be a year in which you just, you put those feet out there. You It's interesting. I see you getting new shoes in order to take your new steps. So that between now and the first of the year, which is a day, I would really suggest that the element of new shoes is necessary here because it feels like you're going to be putting a lot of mileage on your feet and your shoes, and you need to change your shoes because your shoes aren't right for your feet right now. So there's this element of commitment that is here, and it does feel as though you really have decided that this is the year that you're going to do a number of things that you have promised yourself you would do for the last decade, but you haven't done. This is the year you're going to do it. This is a year where there's greater strength within you than there's ever been before. And certainly in the January timeframe, there's the element of healing energy that flows through you strongly, so that what may have been limiting you in the past is no longer limiting you. And if you are limited in any way, it means that you're going to be very creative to get to around that limitation so that you're able to begin to be a lot more active than you have been in the past. I feel a great strength within you. I think emotionally you're letting go of some stuff from the past, which is really important. There's been a lot of inner reflection, a lot of reminiscence going on here, and it does feel very exciting for you in the new year because it's almost like you've been given wings. Now, you're not passing or anything like that, but it's almost as though there's an element of a greater lightness to your energy field, and you're able to really soar, to fly, to do things that you hadn't thought you were going to be able to. You've put things aside that now you can take out and say, well, I guess I'm not done with that after all. So January is going to be a time of exciting energy for you because you're going to be putting yourself in positions that you would almost you had sort of said maybe or maybe not, and then you decided what the heck, why not? So as you move into the February time frame, there's a sense here of a great deal of energy flowing your way. You seem to be picking up energy from all around you. You are more sensitive to energy now than you ever have been before in the past. You will find that large crowds are not a place for you. Forget the stuff about the virus, but you prefer to have smaller groups of people around you. It's the large groups that just kind of prickle your skin, and that's because you are so sensitive to other people's energy that large crowds will overwhelm you energetically. So I would stay out of large crowds and keep to smaller crowds because it feels as though your energy just other people get comfortable around you and share with you. And if you're in too large a group of people, you'll just be overwhelmed. It feels like there's an abundance of energy here, more energy than you had anticipated. I see you, by the way, changing your eating patterns slightly to more greatly enhance your health. As you get into the February time frame, there is a sense here of new spiritual energy, new spiritual insight. It feels that you're going to be You've always been empathetic to a degree, but that empathy is growing and expanding greatly, so that there's a sense here that you're going to be able to sort of sense what people are feeling and help them to understand what's going on around them. Your greatest gift is not talking. Your greatest gift is letting people speak to you and listening. And you are an amazing listener because if you give people enough time, they'll solve their own problems if you just let them talk enough. Your spiritual energy is amazing. I see you looking more and more into spiritual philosophy and taking a look at some of the old ancient techniques and the old ancient cultures that have been around that have been of a spiritual nature. As you get into the April time frame, there's a sense here of setting yourself loose. You have the element of free will. Please understand that free will isn't really free. We have to pay the consequences of our actions, but there are choices that you're going to be making here that will surprise people. And it does feel as though you may shock a couple of people, but that's good because you have magic and you have levels within you that most people aren't aware of, and so that there is this ancient wisdom that you seem to be percolating inside of you that I don't see you using as much as you can. I would almost say from what I'm seeing that the sense of even ordination on some level, and if you're looking at something like that, if it feels appropriate for you, check out the priesthood of Melchizedek because it's a wonderful philosophy and it's not years and years of study, but it does give you credentials that are really quite profound. So as you come into the May time frame, there's this sense here of letting loose and moving into new directions within yourself. There's a sense here of looking for new things to get entangled in, as opposed to repeating old things that are comfortable for you. You're looking for new things to make comfortable for you, so that it's almost as though you're saying, I've been there, I've done that, I want to do something new and something different. And it goes from all levels of not only the intellectual and the philosophical, but down to the mundane and cooking and even creativity of any sort, whether it's needlework or clay or it's important for you to be creative. It's very important for you to have creativity in your life. And every day, do something, find something that's of a creative nature, because that creates the portal through which the spiritual energy flows. So that if you sit and watch TV for too long, that is not creative, even if you're critiquing it. So it's important that you find something to do with a creative nature, and just about everything has a sense of, I could make vacuuming creative if I had to. So, just I don't do it well, but it would be creative. But it's take your creative energy and make sure you utilize it every day. Keep that portal open, because through that portal will flow some of the amazing magic that you hold within you that is going to surprise the daylights out of you and the people around you. There's a sense here of following rules, that you're very important on following rules, and some people around you are not quite so important, and I'm not necessarily talking like speeding tickets. I'm talking more of the social rules, of the mores, of that kind of rules. And I feel strongly that you teach by your example, and people pay attention to how you treat things, how you focus things, how you react and relate to things that are around you. So people are paying attention to you. I mean, this is not the government spying on you. It's just that people who are close to you really do respect how you live your life and how you treat others and how you flow with the energy around you. So do understand that your actions, even if it's as simple as you bought one can too much of soup and you turn around and you go back into the grocery store to pay for it because you hadn't paid for it before. So as you get into the July time frame, there's a sense here of changes, many changes in your life, very exciting changes. And it's almost as though you need to get rid of stuff. You need to declutter your life a little bit so that there's room for you to certainly, get more clutter. But it feels as though there's clutter is wonderful. It's just that you have to rotate it, and people don't tend to do that. So you need to declutter for sure. As you get into the August time frame, here's where there's spiritual energy. Here's where there's sort of a communing with your higher consciousness. Here's where you're going to have sleepless nights, because you're analyzing and looking at things and seeing new reasons for why things happen. You're taking responsibility for things that you could have changed and done differently. And then once you take responsibility, you let go so that you can move forward in time. And it does feel as though the spiritual energy is very strong within you, and that sometimes I feel that you've had lifetimes in which you have spoken in the pulpit or something similar to the pulpit, so that you do have the capacity to talk about spiritual matters in a very enlightening way. Not in the traditional church, in more of a non-traditional way, but you have great power here. As you come into September, there's a sense here of the fact that this empathy that you have for others is really quite profound. Also with animals, man, you hate that ASP commercial as much as I do, ASPCA. There's a sense here of sharing with other people some of the magic you have within, and it does ease people through emotional traumas. People around you are going to be experiencing emotional traumas, and you're going to be able to help them by listening, you're going to help them to process it. I don't feel anybody in your immediate family is going to go through trauma, but there are other people around you that you know that will be going through some emotional stuff. So do be aware of that and on the lookout for it, because some people don't like to talk about that stuff, but it's really going to be there. As you get into the October time frame, there's a sense here of your creativity flowering in new directions. I feel that you have always wanted to do some things creatively, and you haven't really played with it yet, and do understand that the joy of creation is the important thing, not necessarily the artwork or whatever, the project. It isn't the final product that we're looking at. We're looking at the process of creation. Again, creativity opens the portal for the spiritual to enhance your reality and you. And do understand that you create your reality by your perception of it. So you can either see, disaster, or you can see the beginning of a bright new future, and whatever you perceive it to be seriously and honestly is what it actually becomes. As you get into the November time frame, here's where there's a great deal of power here. Here's where people are really listening to you. Light shines on you, and it feels as though that, you're really in a spotlight for a while here. It's a very exciting time. People always are listening to you. It's just that you don't notice it, but you will notice people paying attention and acting upon your advice. Try not to, be too direct with it. Allow people to find the power within themselves, and most people, if the idea isn't theirs, they're not going to act on it. So, you can guide people to discovering something that you always knew was there, but they didn't. As you come into the December time frame, here's where you begin to recognize a lot of the power that you have within you. I think there are past lifetimes that you have been one who also always balanced your life out profoundly. I see the scales of justice here, and I do feel that you're going to find justice for yourself in many different places in your life that you never expected there to be justice, and it's going to be a very exciting time for you. You're going to help a lot of people, and at the same time you're going to grow profoundly, and it's going to be very exciting. Okay?
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessings to you.
You're so welcome. Have a great, happy New Year.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Okay. It's, it's very exciting to get into people's energy like this. You never know what you're going to find. And happily, it's always something really, 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 really cool. Okay, we've got... Jeannie is numbering people, and the switchboard is popping around here. So I'm trying very hard to keep up with the number system here. And as people are shifting around, I think the switchboard puts numbers in numerically and or alphabetically, and does create a bit of a problem here and there. Okay, we've got Deidre here. Hi, Deidre, are you there?
Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
I love listening to your letter rips. I'm excited about mine.
Letter rips are so much fun because nobody interrupts me. Actually, I created the letter rips because oftentimes people would stop me and tell me the story of their lives, and then of course the rest of it got lost. So people are you can't talk. You have to let me talk.
Yeah. I love it.
Okay, so here we go. This is going to be a year in which there's the element of a lot of discovery about you and your past and your family, and it's going to be a very exciting time for you. Not that you're going to find, that there were bank robbers, and well, there may have been way back, but you're going to find people you're related to that you didn't know, which is really kind of fun. There is a certain amount of genealogy here. If you're not into it, don't worry, it'll come up anyhow. But you're going to discover a lot about yourself and your family, and keep hearing family. So family is very important to you. I think that the element here that I feel most profoundly about is that that you have a sense of looking for truth in places where nobody else does. You have had past lives in which you have been a sort of detective, although, not the kind of detective that, we think of with the police, but you've always been one that sought out the truth and sought out answers to questions that people were afraid to ask. So that is going to be kind of a keynote for the whole year. You're going to be looking for and finding answers to questions, and sometimes questions that you didn't even know were asked. But once you find the element of truth, it applies to a question that you didn't even know you had forgotten to ask. As we get into January, there's a sense here of you looking more and more and more into your own spirituality and digging into the elements within yourself that will open you to the cosmic consciousness that is out there. I do feel strongly that you are an extraordinarily spiritual person, but you don't wear it on your sleeve. And so it's a matter of kind of going into your belief system and discovering where there's a great richness inside of you. We always say, the answers are always within, and you are your own teacher, and all of that is true. It's a matter of helping people to get to that place where they can reach for that information, and I think this is going to be a year, from what I'm seeing here, that you do that reaching and you do find your way into that portal that opens you to the wonderful, exciting material that rests there for you, that goes back eons and eons and eons of past lives and ages and stuff like that. If you're at all interested in understanding a lot of this magical energy, check out the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. They're a fascinating material, and they do give you insight into how to look within yourself to a great degree. There is a sense here that you are looking for. You're looking for the magic that you have within you, and you're going to find it, and it will open you to a lot of stuff that you just didn't even know was there, which is kind of exciting. The element of meditation, if you find a way that you can do that quietly to yourself, should not be a led meditation, should be a quiet meditation. I think that the best kind for you is the empty-minded meditation, which basically it tells you to sit and empty your mind for sometimes 2 to 5 minutes, and when you get 2 to 5 minutes down, you stretch it so that eventually you can sit in emptiness for 20 minutes. It will be refreshing, it will be enlightening, and when you come out of your meditation, you will find that you know a lot more than you thought you did. But if you have another form of meditation that works for you, go for it. But I don't want someone leading you, because you have to find the way yourself, and that's why the empty-headed meditation is always so good. As you get into February, there's a sense here of Phoenix rising energy, of you being reborn out of the ashes of the old. That means that you're making major changes in your life. I have found that most people reinvent themselves. I reinvent myself every 10 years. Other people do it every 7 years, but all of us have sort of a routine we go through, and in a certain amount of years, we really tend to reinvent ourselves. We may change our hair, our clothes, whatever. This is going to be a year, 2021, where you do start to reinvent yourself, and you may make some major changes in your physicality, and you may make some major changes in your environment, and it's going to be very exciting for you, because it does lighten up and free you from a lot of the burdens and the habits and the rituals that have been with you for a very, very long time. It's a time to create new ones. It's a time to find new ways that you can express yourself and find new ways of being creative. As you hit into the March time frame, here's where energy comes in. Here's where letting go of emotional stuff that you've carried for a long time. Here's where there's a sense here of healing energy within you, and it feels almost as though a burden has been lifted from you. And because of that, you have greater freedom, and there's a sense of a greater flow of energy within you. And with that greater flow of energy, there is an aspect of healing on a very cellular level. I would also recommend if you're interested in it, because there's a sense here of energetic and magnetism, a magnetic bracelet of some sort. Make sure that the magnets are not the hematite ones, but rather really powerful ones that are at least 5,000 Gauss, and that will magnetic bracelets, when worn on a regular basis, they as the blood flows underneath them, they arrange the blood cells north-south so that you have a greater flow of energy, so that arthritis and things like that are eased greatly, and a lot of different energy flows through you. When the blood cells are shifted so that they're all on a north-south polarity, then the blood flows freely, and it does facilitate healing on many different levels. It's not going to cure, major disease or appendicitis or something like that, but it does help to give a greater freedom to the body in and of itself. As you come into the April time frame, there's a sense here of taking control, of being in control, and it does feel as though you begin to organize things. You begin to be more in control. You begin to be less of a follower and more of a leader in all aspects of life. It feels that there are new groups of people that you're associated with, and it does feel as though you are moving into a new sense of comfort within yourself. There is also a sense of humility, which is wonderful, and you should never let go of, because being humble means that nobody can knock you off a pedestal. Being on a pedestal is very scary, because pedestals were only meant to be pushed off of. So that what I'm seeing here is that there is a sense here of power within you, people listening to you, either, as simple as maybe being the leader in a book club, or in a more profound way. I feel that you'll start little and you'll finish, very, very in larger groups. I think that there's a sense here of you being more powerful than you know, and people recognize it before you do, which is really kind of a cool way to go. As you hit the April time frame, there's laughter, joy, and celebration here. It does feel as though there's really good stuff happening here in April, and it does feel as though you are more and more in control of organization and making sure that people are comfortable and happy. But mostly it's within your own life. It's a sense here of celebrating yourself, who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. And it does feel as though there are activities here in the month. There's celebrations of some sort, whether it's birthdays or anniversaries or weddings or christenings or whatever. But May is a time where there is all this celebration, and there's great laughter, and there's great joy, and the home is full of new light, so that it does feel as though you're making changes within the home too, which is really kind of cool. As you get into June, there's a sense here of shifting and changing, of opening yourself up to new directions, and I do feel that you are reinventing yourself to a great degree, and it's very exciting, because it's almost as though you are going back to school on many different levels. Now, it may be you're going back to school philosophically rather than educationally. I feel that your intellect is involved, but I don't necessarily feel that you are in a traditional school. I feel that you are more in the school of life. It doesn't mean you can't take courses or classes. Do suggest to do that if you're interested, but there's a sense here of stretching yourself in every different way possible, and it's very exciting. As you hit the July time frame, you cross a threshold of understanding of this and other realities. There's an interdimensional feel to your energy here, and it does feel as though you become more and more aware of the other dimensions that are a part of our reality. And it does feel as though there's a sense here of opening yourself up to the element of not only the other realities, but the philosophies that go along with them, and the cosmic energy that flows through them, so that there's a sense here of educating yourself to a degree on what other people think about these different areas, and then forming your own opinion and being very comfortable with it. It feels as though there is a sense here of, I see visions of all sorts. So I feel that your dreams are going to be very prophetic. I feel that you're going to be able to sit quietly by yourself, and visions will come to you. Now, I'm not talking let me explain when I say visions. I think you're going to see circumstances. I feel you're going to see parts of reality. I feel you're going to see, to some degree, hints of what future holds for humanity, not individuals, but humanity. I'm not talking of visitations of St. Michael or the Virgin Mary or anything like that. I'm talking about seeing scenarios and situations and being able to give you an idea as to where we are flowing as a whole, as humanity is. And it looks like a very exciting time with you. Please write things down, because when you write them down, you cement them into this reality. It's like dreams. It's like promises that are, just uttered. Unless they're written down, unless they're committed to reality, they don't have any strength to become a part of reality. So what you write down has a greater sense of being able to manifest than just saying to somebody, this is what I saw. Because if all you're doing is saying, this is what I saw, then it isn't imprinted, it isn't engraved in reality. And, then it may or may not happen. So make sure you write things down. As you hit the August time frame, you're evolving into a new understanding of yourself, your purpose, your direction. I feel strongly that you're coming to a time here where you're seeing that there is far more greatness within you than you had anticipated. And I do feel you looking into books and other philosophies and stretching yourself into new understanding of what has brought humanity to this point in time. Humanity is going through a shift and a change, and there is new energy here. We've just come through a grand cycle of the progression of the equinoxes. There's new energy here. We are more into a spiritual understanding and energetic, and people are more open to the spiritual than they ever have been before. You have great abundance, and when it comes into the element of September, you're going to find that you're going to find the doors are opening to understanding of a lot of other elements, a lot of other areas of the spiritual philosophy in and of itself, so that you're going to be sort of dipping your hand into lots of different pots. You're going to find several pots that feel real good. It's sort of like the three bears. You're going to find areas that are just right for you, and please flow with them with vigor and determination, because they will open much to you and will change your life dramatically. As you get into the October time frame, there's a sense here if your house is in order. It feels as though you are shifting things around, moving things around. I even smell sawdust and paint, so you may be doing some sort of redecorating of some sort. But it's a matter of, when I say your house is in order, I'm really more referencing your physicality and your emotionality and your spirituality and the bodies within the human body, so that you are more at peace, and there is a greater flow of energy. There's a greater harmonic energy here. I would suggest strongly that you look into the solfeggio music. That can help you to get into some of the different frequencies that will enable you to make some of the shifts and changes that you're looking for. As you come into the November time frame, there's a sense here of taking care of yourself, making sure that you are eating correctly. None of us eat correctly. But when you get into November, it feels like you really go off track. So do pay attention to keeping yourself balanced, at least 3 meals a day. And some of you tend to go to extremes sometimes, and all of us do. But for you, it's going to be bizarre. So as you come into the November time frame, do make sure that you're taking care of yourself and you're getting enough sleep, because that's really important to you. You tend to be a night owl, and if you do that, then naps during the day is okay. Don't really listen to what other people say about how you should get your rest. Get it when you feel you need it, and then celebrate the times that you're awake. And sometimes, late at night, it's a good time for you, because nobody is talking and nobody is, the phone isn't ringing, and you have time to get into the energies that are going to become very important to you as you get into the November-December time frame. December has a good balance here. It does feel as that it's important for you to work with your healing and your creativity. Again, that element of being able to see into other dimensions. You're going to find that every now and then you have floaters in your eyes, and basically the floater, the scientists will tell you what the floaters are. And they're partially right, but partially you're also seeing into another dimension. And if you want to make the floaters go away, all you need to do is take a couple of Tums, because they also indicate that you have a calcium deficiency. So it is a time for you to understand that there is so much more out there than we ever knew, and it's amazing to touch into it, to experience it, to write it down, and to help it to enhance and give you a greater sense of vitality. It's almost as though your world goes from black and white to Technicolor in a night. Okay?
Oh, my gosh. Thank you. It completely resonated, and I cannot wait to update you as the year goes on.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so very much.
Thanks, Barbara. Good night.
Good night. Okay. Let me see. I'm trying, Jeannie. I am trying so hard to stay with the numbers, but they're shifting around all over the place. So, and I asked Jeannie to please make sure she kept track of all of you, and she's doing a very good job. I'm sure she's out of breath by now. I don't think I could do this without her. So, though she is though she doesn't talk much. Actually, big secret, she talks a lot. She just doesn't do it on the radio. But she has been my co-host here for going on 12 years. So she has been as important to the show as I am, because without her it doesn't work either. Okay, so we've got, a name I can recognize, Barbara. So, okay, here we go. Hi, Barbara, you there?
I'm here. Glad to talk to you, or listen. Thank you.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. You call it, all you can do is listen. So this is going to be a really exciting year for you, because what you're doing is you are letting go of the limitations you put upon yourself, which is really kind of cool. This is a time where you are going to let go of all of that I doubt it's, and you're going to allow yourself to flow in a far greater intensity than ever before. You seem to have sort of have been reluctant to move forward in a lot of different areas, and I'm seeing you letting go of that reluctance. I'm seeing you, you know that you're the only one that holds you back. You know that you're the one that sort of limits you to a certain degree. I want to tell you that those limitations are off as of now. Well, actually tomorrow, but it's a time where anything is possible for you. You can go in any direction you want to go in. You can, let's keep it legal, but it's a time here where you are coming into a time of vast expansion, and as you come into the January time frame, there's a sense here of setting things up, of moving in a new flow of energy, of putting things in place, getting your ducks in a row, and not letting anybody say, I doubt it to you. In other words, you go for it. Whatever it is that you're dreaming about, you go for. I mean, I would keep it reasonable. No teenage America here, but it's sort of a time in which you're not going to let naysayers affect you. You're not going to let your own inner I doubt it's in here anymore. Basically, it's why not? You're going to try something because you can. You're going to go for something because it feels good. And whether you succeed or not doesn't matter. It's the process that's important. And this is going to be such an exciting year for you, because the things that you're setting in place, it's almost like you sit down and make a list of the things that you want to sort of get involved in and get into and try out in the next year. And whatever you put on that list, you will do. It will depend upon a degree of, how great some of these will be or not, but you're going to have a good time, and that's the important thing. And the more joy you have in your life, the healthier you are, the further you go, and the more fun you have. As you get into the February time frame, there's a sense here of you focusing on singular things in a singular way. In other words, I don't think you're one of those people that needs to have a lot of things going on. Pick one thing, focus on it, draw it to completion, put it to bed, and then go on to something else. You have a unity of focus. You are strongly focused in one direction. And it means that some of the changes that you're making are going to surprise people. Some of the changes you're making are going to overwhelm people. And some of the changes you're going to be making will shock people, and that's good. They'll all be legal, and they'll all be fun for you. And it does feel that there is a unity of focus in the February time frame, so that you are really taking care to make sure that you complete things, you dot your I's, you cross your T's, and when you cross them off your list, they are complete and put to bed. As you get into the March time frame, you're focused on home here, and it does feel as though there may be a desire to move or change the home, and I feel either would be appropriate. It feels as though if you are looking to sell your house and moving, that it's going to take a while. But here's where you begin it. And if what you're doing with your home is just changing it and making it a new home for yourself, that's a good thing too. It's totally up to you, but the home is going to be a focus. And it does feel as though you're shifting things around, you're moving things around. There's an element of really making changes that make you feel better. I would look into, there's probably a book, they have all the dummy books. I would look into Feng Shui for Dummies, because I would love you to utilize Feng Shui, but not be a fanatic about it. And the dummy book keeps it very, very simple. But there's a sense here that you are very impacted by the energy of your surroundings, and therefore Feng Shui would probably help you a little bit in creating the kind of environment that you can flourish in. It's quite amazing. Things, very simple things like if you want someone new in your life, make room in your closet. Don't put things under your bed if you want to have another person come into your life. The right place to put mirrors, that kind of thing. It does feel as though your home is really a sanctuary for you, and I feel you making some major changes as you get into the March time frame. April's a time frame where you have body, mind, spirit coming together. You sort of pulled a lot of energy together. It feels as though you feel more whole, more together, more alive than you ever have in the past. This is a great year for you. This is a year in which there's greater strength here, and it does feel as though you put your foot into new venues that you haven't been in before. The element of new friends, new groups, new things to get involved in, they're all here in the April time frame. It does feel that you create a new garden, and even if you're not a gardener, it's okay, because I'm thinking it's a garden of people around you. But if you're into gardens as well, then I would say there's a new garden, a literal garden for you. But of the two, the one that I feel that the greatest strength to is that the garden of the people around you. I feel more groups of people. I feel you expanding your input and your love of certain kinds of people. I feel strongly too. I hear singing. I hear it's almost like a choir singing. So I don't know if there's a church choir, if you're involved in a church, but there is a sense here of singing in a group of people that is very profound. So just if you're not a part of a singing group, or if you're like me and you don't have a voice at all, I sang in choirs. They just put me next to the strongest singer, so I was drowned out. There's something about music that is here. There's something about the importance of you being surrounded by music, and it may be that you just have to listen to it or want to listen to it. Certainly if it's nothing that appeals to you, then understand that musical element is here in many different ways, so that as you come into the month of April, there is an amazing frequency contained within music that will help to enlighten your spirit, enlighten your energy field, and may well even be a healing energy for you as well. As you come into the May time frame, here's where you're working hard on yourself. Here's where here's where I feel that there's a lot of inner work going on within your home, and I'm talking about yourself. So I think you're going through, there's almost kind of like a life review going on here, kind of, where I came from, where I am, and where I want to go. There's a sense here, I mean, you're not done with life, of course, but it's sort of like taking stock of what's gone on in the past and figuring out, well, that was a lesson I don't need to repeat again type stuff. It's important that you do this kind of review because it does feel as though the next year is going to be a very exciting one for you with new things coming into your world, and you want to make sure you've put to bed, all of the things that you have struggled through, and all of the things that you've managed to not only come through but come through brilliantly. As you get into the June time frame, there's a new continuity of your life. There are new people in your life. I do feel that you've got new people coming in here, and it starts probably at the end of March onward. There are new people. It looks like it's a lot of different people. I'm not sure I put them all together at once, but it does feel as though there is a sense here of new people coming in, and everybody's sort of triggering a new magic place within you. So whether some of it is philosophical and some of it is recreational and some of it is creative, so that you've got a lot of new aspects of life that you're experiencing, and it does give a good continuity flow of energy for you, so that as you hit the July time frame, there's a sense here of new beginnings and fresh starts. It's almost as though you are clearing your slate and you're saying, okay, from now on, this is a new direction. And I do see you starting new things and new directions with new groups of people and new people. There are lots of new people coming into your life. So as you enter into the new year, understand that there are going to be new people, new groups, and new energies that you're going to be coming in contact with. And if you want to make changes to yourself, that's the time to do it, because you're going to be a new person, so that you will attract new people to you, so that there is a new direction that you're going to take your life. As you hit the July time frame, there are definitely new groups here, and it does feel as though there's also travel of some sort. But it feels local. It doesn't feel like you're going around the world or anything like that. But I do feel you getting out more. I do feel you in the outside more. And as you come into the summertime, there's a sense here of new light within you, new light around you. I feel that there's a sense here of you beginning to shine in a new way. I do feel that you're going to find that there are talents and gifts that you have within you that are greatly respected by other people, so that you have a sense of feeling, a greater sense of pride within yourself and the things that you do and the things that you've achieved. As you come into the September time frame, this is interesting. You've got tying up karma from past lifetimes. So you're going to have people coming into your life that are unusual and unique, and they're there for a little bit and then they're gone. And basically what you're doing is you're tying up karmic debt from past lifetimes. So the month of September is going to be very unusual. It's going to be exciting. Some of these people are very unique, and that you're not going to give them money or anything like that, but it's an interchange with people that are there briefly and then they're gone. And it's almost as though you had something that you needed to complete with them, and once you completed it, they were able, everyone moved on to their own directions, but it's going to be an exciting time for you. And if you want to spend time trying to figure out what the karmic debts were or what was going on, I don't feel you would be taken advantage of. I feel that basically it may just be, talking with someone that you were with in a past life where you ignored their advice or you didn't listen to them. It could be something very simple like that. But there is no money involved. Please don't give strangers money. That would be karmic debt for another life. As you get into the October time frame, there's a sense here of you making some choices. There are lots of choices that are going to be coming your way. There are a lot of new directions that are opening up to you. You cannot make a wrong choice, and in many cases you don't have to make a choice at all, because if you work things right and you aren't pressured, if somebody is trying to pressure you to make a choice, then walk away. What I'm seeing here is that you are going to have the opportunity to not only look at two different directions, but if given time, you can achieve both, so you don't have to choose. And I think that's something you have to understand, that you have a life in which you can achieve as much as you want to. As you move into the November time frame, here's a healing energy. Here's where you're moving in new directions. There's a greater sense of accomplishment. There's a greater sense of openness. I feel that where you may have had aches and pains before, they're not there anymore, and so that there's a greater sense of freedom of movement, so that I do feel that you're going to be outside a lot more, not knowing where you are, hopefully not Alaska. It does feel that you are moving in new directions, and it does feel that there are new elements within you that need to be outside more. I feel that you haven't been in the sun enough. It feels like there may be a vitamin B deficiency. So I would get that checked out or start taking vitamin B, whichever works best for you. Because what I'm seeing here in the November time frame is that you have a greater surge of energy than you've ever had before. So I see you outside a lot more, walking, not necessarily running or hiking or climbing mountains, but you're outside in the sun a lot more than you have been in the past. As you get into the December time frame, here's where you're looking at the directions that you want to move in, and seeing that pathways are opening for you in directions not anticipated, so that your choices for where you take the following year are going to be far greater than you imagine and far more exciting. There is laughter, joy, and celebration here. There is a lot of freedom of movement in new directions here. There is a celebration of life here that is really exciting as all get out. Okay?
Thank you so much. I'll be sure to let you know about my journey with my animals.
I certainly would be interested in hearing that. Thanks for calling tonight.
Thank you. A Happy New Year. I'm sorry.
To you too.
Bye.
It is definitely an exciting time. Actually, the world is becoming more and more exciting, every time I turn around. So it's a matter of holy mackerel. What more could happen? You kind of sit back and think, I think I've got it figured out. And the minute you say, I think I have it figured out, it's almost that there's somebody on the other side saying, oh, she's way too confident. Let's send something her way that is going to make her really wonder if the other side is crazy or not. And I often think they are, actually. Hi, Kimberly. How are you doing? Kimberly?
Hello?
Hi. Kimberly, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Thanks for calling. I've got your cards out, almost. And I will be going through the next year for you. Looks exciting. It looks as though there's a lot of change here. It does feel as though there's the element of new beginnings and fresh starts. It looks like there's a lot of new energy coming in here. It's almost like you've been saving up. It's almost like that you've got a whole bunch of stuff saved up, and as we get into the beginning of the year, you just sort of explode with energy, all in a good way. And I do feel strongly, explode was a bad word, but you gush new energy. I feel that there are changes coming up here that you have had in mind for a very, very long time, and so that there is this whole year is going to be a time of new experiences, new changes, new directions, new elements coming into your life. You're going to find that you're in the next 12 months that there are going to be things that you try that you never thought that you would try. Not skydiving, but not extreme things, but you're going to find that you are going to be open to stepping in new directions, which is really kind of cool. And again, I see fresh starts, new beginnings, lots of places where you thought you had hung things up and you're not going to do anymore, and yet you're finding that it's time to change your mind and keep going with certain things. I feel you've given a lot away, and I feel you're going to go out and replace a lot of the things that you've given away because you're not done yet. I feel that as you get into the January time frame, you have body, mind, spirit together. You've been working very hard on yourself, especially at night. It feels as though in the evening times there's a lot of thought, a lot of retrospective thought. There's a lot of understanding that has come out here. And as we get into January, there's a sense here of understanding the purpose for a lot of the things that have happened to you in your life. You're moving in new directions. You're certainly there is a journey that all of us are on, and you begin to sort of see the purpose of a lot of things that have gone on in your life. Certainly you don't see the whole journey because, then there would be no point to it. But you do begin to understand of slightly why things happen the way they do. And as we get into the January time frame, it feels like there's a lot of analytical stuff going on here. I feel research going on here too, so that you may be drawn to books and please understand that I'm 76 years old, so when I see books, I think research, but it may not be books. You may be using the computer or something because now books are almost antiques. But I do see you researching. I do see you looking into things. I see you, that element of research is really important to you to kind of nail down and understand philosophies and sometimes people and sometimes situations. As you get into the February time frame, this is really cool because this is a time of karma as well, and it does feel as though you are beginning to understand why some people have come into your life and why they left. It's a time in which you begin to see reason, you begin to understand, you begin to let go of anger, and it's a wonderful time. February is a great time for you because it does feel as though you come to terms with a lot of things and you are able to shut doors and move in new directions. And I do feel that there's a sense here also of airing out the house. Now, I don't know where you live, so airing out your house could be very, please, if it's sub-zero, don't air out your house. But what I'm seeing here is you letting fresh air flow through your life in a lot of new ways. I feel that there's great strength here, there's great power here, and you are so intelligent. It's just you're so. I don't think you let people know how intelligent you actually are, and I do feel that as you hit the February time frame that you're going to start allowing a lot of that wisdom that is within you that you've gathered throughout lifetimes is going to start hitting and touching other people's lives. You have great insight, you have great empathy, you have an amazing amount of spiritual energy here, and in many ways you're a gift to everybody who knows you, and yet you keep a low profile, and it's probably, to this point in time, it was very wise, but at this point, it feels as you hit February, you start to sort of step out of the closet, so to speak, and start sharing some of the wisdom that you've carried through time. I feel that strongly that writing is here on some level, and if you might think about sitting down and channeling and writing things, you'd find that you have a gift and a talent here that is really quite profound. If you already write, then it will be enhanced greatly because it does feel as though there's magic within here as far as the written and spoken word goes, so that you have a great deal to share. And it's going to be very exciting because you're going to find channels through which you can share your information, which is really quite profound. As you hit the March time frame, it's almost as though you're holding back, and again, it's a sense of you limit yourself, no one else will limit you, and this is a time where you can grow beyond that limitation, so that if in the February time frame that there's been an outpouring of energy and wisdom, as you hit into the March time frame, you may find that you want to, continue to do this outpouring, but keeping it closer at hand, and so that by the time you hit April, you're able to sort of share it and allow it to flow in new directions. March is going to be a time for you to sort of, I almost feel as though you're hibernating, you're holding yourself back for a time to sort of wait for a door to open, and it will. And it may be frustrating for you from time to time because it's sort of like you kind of want to keep your flow going, and yet you know it's not time to do that. But it's a time for you to do a lot of inner work. It's a time for you to do a lot of work personally within your own personal reality. And then once we hit April, all heck breaks loose, and it's really terrific for you. There's a wonderful continuity of energy. There's a new flow of energy. I feel your feet dancing. I feel you very excited about life and about travel. There's travel here. I feel that you're going to find yourself with a greater freedom to move about a lot more than of course any of us have had now. But as we hit the April time frame, there's a greater sense of freedom here. I feel that you will find new ways to touch in with people that you haven't been able to touch in with, and it's almost as though you find a new way of communicating, a new way of touching people, a new way of you free yourself from the bounds that you have put upon yourself, and not society on you, you put on yourself, and you free yourself to move into new directions. There are new people, there are new groups, there are new, especially new people coming into your life. I feel that you've restricted yourself greatly, and what I'm seeing here is that whether it's on the internet, whether it's on any kind of social media, you expanding and you gathering people around you in a very excited way. There's a great deal of spiritual energy here, a great deal of healing energy here, and it's almost as though you're finding new ways to utilize old modalities and bring them into the present time, to utilize them to help not only yourself but people around you. As you hit the May time frame, there's a sense here of putting things in place, I see genealogy work here. I see you looking into your family and looking into people around you and seeing connections that you didn't see before. I feel that there's a sense here also of you settling, taking down fences that you have put up around yourself to protect yourself from other people, taking down the fences knowing that you don't need protection anymore. So there's a sense here of coming to terms about a lot of things in your life and understanding that a lot of things that might have been hurtful actually taught you a great deal, and in a very positive way, not, I'll know not to do that again because that was stupid. It's more that this taught me how to have greater trust in my own judgment and things like that. In other words, the truths that you're learning, the things that you're coming out with, have a very positive flavor to them, so that even if the situation may not have felt positive at the time, it taught you something very, very positive about yourself. And once you see that positive grain of truth, then everything goes away and you're able to flow forward with greater ease and greater determination and greater direction into the June time frame. June time frame is where you need to take care of yourself. You need to, take a look at how you are taking care of yourself. This is a time for, pedicures, manicures, massages. This is a time for you to really pamper yourself, because it feels like you give so much to other people. You often don't have time for yourself, but it does feel here that in the June time frame you are given time to do things for yourself that make you feel good, that make you feel special. Because you're incredibly special. I would suggest strongly that you look around, and if you don't have any sea salt lamps, to get a couple to help to change the negative ions that are within your in your environment, because it feels as though there's a greater strength within that they tend to put out that can help you. I feel on a personal level that there is growth here, and that people around you have far greater respect for you than they did before. I'm not saying you weren't respected, just there's greater respect here, and there are new people coming into your life, so that there is a new social life here that is going to be very unique for you, and I think that it's going to be a very exciting time for you. It's expansive beyond whatever it is you have going on now or had going on before this pandemic hit. And it does feel as though it's going to be a time in which you find you find out a lot of new stuff about yourself that is really quite exciting. The summertime is going to be pretty phenomenal too. You're evolving as you get into the July time frame, into a new understanding and a new desire to look into new talents and gifts that you carry within. You're going to find yourself experimenting with a lot of different things. Some of them cooking, because I smell bread baking. Now, I don't know if you're going to make bread, but cooking is here as you get into the July time frame, as are waterfalls. Waterfalls sometime in the summertime are going to have a very profound effect upon you. And they do, if you're by a good waterfall, there are a lot of negative ions there, so it does help to get into your energetic field and open you up to inspiration and insight and wisdom that you carry within. Okay, so it's trivial, but waterfalls seem to actually have an effect on you too. So make sure they always have restrooms around. There's a sense here of having spiritual energy around you. It's almost as though you feel a presence at times, and I would say that presence that you're feeling is your connection to cosmic consciousness, that it's there, it's special, it's profound. Not everybody gets it, not everybody has it. There's magic involved with it, and magic in the element of not pulling rabbits out of the hat, but rabbits in understanding the power that you have within of learning a lot about the spiritual journey that your spirit is on, and understanding the importance of the journey that you're on this lifetime, and the fact that you are touching people and people's lives, and that you are certainly helping other people to heal as you heal yourself. And it does feel as though, especially in the August time frame, this spiritual energy is overwhelming, and you may at some point find yourself feeling on occasion a little disoriented or dizzy or whatever. If you're worried at all, check with a doctor, certainly. But what I'm seeing is it's energetic downloads from the cosmos, and if you give yourself time to sort of assimilate it all and incorporate it into the totality of who you are, you'll be fine. But again, if you're worried at all, check it out with a doctor. He'll tell you you're fine, but do check with a doctor if you're the least bit concerned about it. What you're getting is cosmic energy, which is profoundly powerful and can cause a little bit of vertigo. As you hit September, there's a sense here of you seeing a lot of purpose into a lot of things that have happened in your life, but also recognizing that your journey is far from over, that there is a great deal of time ahead for you, and it feels as though you have a lot to accomplish. I would strongly urge you to be keeping a journal. It's important, and it will help you to understand the journey that you're on. And as you hit the October time frame, here's the element of home, and there is a sense here that the focus on home as you get into November can mean a lot of different things. It can mean that either you're considering a move or you have actually made one. I'm not sure which way it goes, but home changes, and you may find yourself for a time frame living somewhere other than where you are at this moment in time. I don't feel that there's going to be any damage to wherever your home is now, but this is just that there's a feeling that home changes dramatically as you hit the November time frame, and this is all in a very positive way. It's not a bad way. It's a good way. This sense of home shifting, home changing. It may also be your perception of what your home actually is, and it could mean the home within your heart, within your spirit, within yourself that connects you to the infinite as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's the physical home. As you hit the October time frame, there's a sense here of having the opportunity to make some choices for new directions in your life, and I feel they're all profound. They're all good choices, and if any of it has to do with career of any sort, please make sure that what you choose is wherever you'll have the greatest pleasure and joy. Don't look at the price tag unless, of course, there's a dramatic difference, and then there's no question. But it does feel as though you have a lot of choices coming up for you. They're all good choices, and it's a time where you should allow yourself to go in the directions that you feel the greatest joy as opposed to obligation. As you hit December of next year, there's Phoenix Rising energy here, so that you are letting go of all those things that don't work, and you are allowing yourself the freedom to soar so that you can bring into your life new elements, new people, new friends, new directions that are more appropriate to the new levels of spiritual consciousness that you have brought into your life. Now, people who are near and dear to you, who have been friends forever, will stay, but those people that aren't will move on, and you certainly will have then the room to bring in new people, and I do see you bringing in new people. There is also travel again in the December time frame, so I think you need new suitcases. So this feels as though there's flight, like an airplane flight. You're not fleeing, you're just going someplace in an airplane. And it does feel as though there's travel here that is unanticipated, unplanned, comes about probably around the September time frame, but it looks as though it's to areas that you've never been before, and you're very excited about it. Okay?
All right. That was awesome. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for calling.
Oh, you're welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And remember, all of you that have gotten readings, they will be available either later tonight or early tomorrow. If you want to listen to the archive on YouTube, it will be there, and you can download it. And again, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying very hard to get up and over 1,000, and we're still working on it. Okay, so we've got Valerie here. Hi, Valerie. Are you there?
Yes. Hi. How are you?
Hi. Okay, just shuffling things out here. I should probably just have a whole bunch of decks, so I just grab a new deck, but I'm too cheap to have bunches of them open, so we have to let me shuffle. Okay, so Valerie, I've got your cards out here, and it looks as though it's a very interesting time for you. Actually, this next year is going to be spectacular. So I am going to suggest to you strongly that you go out tomorrow and you buy a journal and you keep a journal of this next year, because it's going to be how do I put it? It's going to be one of those years that you never forget, you don't want to forget. There is so much magic in these cards for this next year for you. I strongly recommend you keep a journal of the cool stuff that happens. The element of coincidence seems to be coming in here over and over and over again. So it does feel here as though, and please understand, there is no such thing as coincidence. Coincidences have meaning, have value, have purpose, and they don't happen just by accident. They happen by plan. So that when coincidences happen in your life, if you journal them down, it means not only it's like saying to the universe, I got the message. And if you don't write them down, then the universe keeps giving you little coincidences. And if you write them down so that you're letting the universe know that you got the message, they get greater and greater and greater in intensity. So it's really, really important for you to keep track, to keep record of the magic that happens in your life on a daily basis, because it will snowball it till the magic will be unbelievable. It does feel here as though you have done an abundance of work on yourself, spiritually speaking. There's a great deal of energy here. It feels as though this is going to be a year that is a keystone year, a year that signals a change in everything about you, so that magic is going to happen on a very regular basis for you, to you, with you. It feels as though there's abundance here. It feels as though you're going to be flooded with energy on lots of different levels. Not only new people coming into your life, but new opportunities opening up to you where you don't expect them. And at some point, you're going to look at it all, and you're going to say, "Gosh, do I deserve all this?" And the answer is yes. This is a year in which karma is coming due, and it's all good karma. It's favors from people you don't expect and anticipate. It's good fortune. And again, don't go wacko on lottery tickets, but I wouldn't be adverse to one now and then. It does feel as though when you get into the January time frame, there's the element of duality. So you have two projects, two directions, two things you're working on, and it does feel as though they're very different, and yet at some point in time they do seem to complement one another. It's important for you to have something going on at all times. You're not the kind of person that can sit still and just stare at the ceiling. There always has to be something going on, and what I'm seeing here is that magic is happening. There's a great deal of new energy around you in the January time frame, and there's a balance always. You're one of those fortunate people that really do balance things out so that you don't spin out of control, and yet there's always excitement at hand, and when you don't have a lot of things happening, you just take a deep breath, and then more things seem to pile on, so that you say yes to almost everything, which is a good thing. And sometimes you feel overwhelmed, but it's important for you to have your hand in a lot of pots, because that's how you grow, and that's how you shift, and that's how you move into greater senses of consciousness and the reality wherein we dwell. There is a sense here as you get into February of magic and miracles, expecting the unexpected. So I don't see you walking on water or levitating or anything like that, but I do see good fortune coming your way in many new and different directions. So that there's a sense here in February that it's almost everything you touch is gold. But again, please don't go buying lots of lottery tickets and expecting a grand prize. What I'm seeing here is that the magic that I'm seeing is more of a spiritual nature. So I do see you paying attention to your insights and your hunches and things like that. I do see you having a better understanding and idea as to the agendas of the people that are around you. And agendas can be good and agendas cannot be good. So that you're able to steer clear of those people who do not have your best interests at heart. I do feel that the element of miracles has to do with good fortune, with doors opening you don't expect them, with you having greater insight into the growth that is going on within you on a spiritual level, and an understanding of your place in reality and the destiny that you have that is calling you forward. And sometimes you'll wonder if you've made the right choices. You've always made the right choices, but sometimes the right choices were the wrong choices because you needed to learn a lesson of some sort, and then they become the right choices. So do understand that if you go with your gut and not your head, you're going to be fine. If you go with your mind and you try to analyze, you're going to find yourself locked into the spiritual reality, which isn't as much fun as going with your intuition and your gut and seeing what the universe has to share with you. It's a wonderful, wonderful, exciting way to live. A little scary at times, but it's still a wonderful way to go. As you hit the March time frame, there's a sense here of creativity, of not only spoken word but written word and graphic stuff. There's a sense here of creativity being so important to you that they're highlighting it and saying, you have talents and gifts inside of you that you have yet to use. That being creative can also be verbally creative, can help you to find alternatives for old directions. You always are going to need, as you come into the new year, you always are going to need to be flowing in a new direction. Please don't repeat things. Always do something new. Don't do the same old, because you have such a wonderful creative spirit here that it enables you to go in directions that no one ever anticipated, not even you. and that it will be an opening of new doors and new people and new insights that you have within you. As you hit April, there are new foundations, and take the word foundation into the many meanings that it has. There is not only the foundation for a building, but there are foundations that one can work at. There are foundations that one can have connections to that can further some of your creative insightful desires, so that the element of foundations is here in the element of April, and it does mean that you are beginning to create a new standing place, a new. It's like you're taking a stand and looking in new directions with insight and excitement and a great deal of spiritual wisdom. People won't always understand you, but they will appreciate you. And I guess that's something that you're going to have to learn to live with, because there is such depth, there is such spiritual understanding, there is such spiritual growth and insight within you that not everybody will understand where you're coming from and where you're going, but they will respect you and honor you, and that's good. So what you've got going here as you go into the May time frame is whatever you send out returns to you, greatly magnified. It feels as though you are definitely looking to make changes, and it feels as though the changes are within your home. So that what I see here is that you are sending out feelers for new directions that you want to go in, and you're going to find that every feeler you send out returns with a very positive, insightful direction connected to it. So what you've got going on here is the element of being able to put a lot of cards on the table, and rather than having to pick just one direction, you're going to be able to go all into all of them, whatever you send out. But please send lots of things out in lots of different directions, whether it is applications for something, whether it is invitations to something, whether it is suggestions for other things. Put a lot out there on the table, because the more you put out, the more you're going to be able to manifest and achieve within this year. As you hit the June time frame, there's a sense here of power. There's a sense here of having great insight within yourself. There's the element of being a leader. Even though you may not be in a leading position, you are a leader on a different level that is actually more important. And it does feel as though people not only pay attention to you, but they respect you greatly. You don't always see or hear the respect, but please know that it's there, because you have a power within you that people can't put a finger on, and yet it's there, and it makes you extraordinarily special. You're going to have people drawn to you, and they don't know why. They just want to be around you, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that you've been through, millions of incarnations. And what you've got going on here is that the spiritual energy within you is so strong that it radiates from you, and it draws people to you, and they don't know why, but they're drawn to you, and they're fascinated by you, and they can't put a finger on what it is about you that's so special, but it's there, and it's magical, and you can utilize that energy to enhance your own reality and the reality of those around you who you love. You can use that energy to help people to, look and seek for that own energy within themselves. I'm not saying you have to be a teacher. People are their own teachers, but it does feel to me as though your presence is of great benefit to a lot of people. So even though and at some point you're going to find that it's going to be important for you to find isolation at some point for a little while each day, or you're going to need to find isolation so you can listen to yourself, to your own energy, and see what's appropriate for you. It's going to get crowded here for a while, but I think it'll be a very a fun crowdedness, just to make sure that you can find some place where you can kind of shut yourself off from all outside stimulation, so that I those isolation tanks, they scare the daylights out of me, but you're going to need to find a place of quiet and peace for you, and spend an hour or so there each day, just letting yourself float. I'm not suggesting isolation tanks because they scare me, and I wouldn't get in one, so I wouldn't suggest that you do it either. But you need the peace and quiet because there's so much going on around you and within you, and your energy is drawing so many people to you. The isolation is going to be something a little bit each day is going to, you really need the quiet. It's going to be more than going into the bathroom and shutting the door, whether it's taking a walk and finding a place peaceful where you can just sit and listen to the birds for a while, that kind of isolation. It's going to be, you're going to find as you get into the July time frame, that you're working very hard at you have projects that are ongoing here, and you're going to be working very hard on them, and it does feel as though I see you rolling up your sleeves, and even though it's summertime and theoretically people are on vacation, you appear to be working very hard on projects that are your own, and it's the kind of work that you just love. You lose yourself in, so that you're involving yourself in a lot of the gifts and the talents that you brought into this lifetime, and you sort of lose yourself in them. And it's kind of like some people get lost in doing jigsaw puzzles. You get lost in your own work, which is really a very cool thing. As you hit the August time frame, here's where it's very exciting, because it does feel as though you feel that there is definitely input from outside sources, and the reality is there is input, I guess, from outside sources, but it's from your spirit. It's from the spirit you carry within. We have a physical self, we have a soul, which is our personality, and then we have our spirit, which is what goes through time. The spirit is immortal. The soul kind of, it hangs out with you until you don't use your body anymore, and then it dissipates. But as you get into the August time frame, you're going to be hearing from your spirit, and your spirit is immortal. Your spirit is magical. Your spirit has wisdom beyond all time, and it does feel as though you're getting information from your spirit to enhance your reality, to further your directions, to help you to navigate the pathway that you've set out for this lifetime. And again, the element of writing is very, 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 very important here. As you hit the September time frame, here you're pulling pieces together. It's I just mentioned a jigsaw puzzle. By the way, that's a great way to meditate, so long as it's one of those really big ones. So as you get into the September time frame, there's the element here of putting pieces together, of reassembling a lot of the directions that you were thinking of going, possibly getting into things that you hadn't really completed in the past. Here's where you start to finish up and tie up loose ends in projects. Not, you're not going anyplace. You're just clearing the table for more projects, actually. But it does feel as though you're making decisions onto some projects, whether or not you want to complete them. If you don't, give them away so other people can. If you otherwise, finish them, and you're getting ready because there is new energy coming through. There are new downloads coming, and it does feel as though you're coming to a time frame where there are shifts and changes that you're going to be going through, so that there will be new directions after you get, after we finish with 2021. 2022 is going to be even more exciting for you. As you get into the October time frame, here's where creativity comes in with healing energy here, so that you're going to find that there are some creative projects that you get involved in that actually help to facilitate emotional healing for you. So that, and these are new projects. These are things that you don't do at this moment in time, but will have picked up along the way. So that as you get into the fall time frame, that you pick up these projects. It does help you to focus. It does help you to balance. It does help you to move into new realms within yourself. As you get into the November time frame, you're putting your house in order. That's internal house, by the way. And it does feel as though you are kind of making yourself ready to leap into new directions as the year comes to a close. You're going to find yourself connecting with a lot of new people, and you're going to find yourself again needing to find that isolation. It feels as though there is a sense here that this is really cool. As you get into the December time frame, of course, it's a time of gift giving, and this particular time frame, you find that the gifts that you give are of a different genre and method and form than just a present under the tree. Your gifts have a more personal feeling to them. It's almost like you're giving of time, of energy, of creative energy. In many ways, you may make your gifts or whatever, but the gifts that you give this next Christmas are going to be far more special and meaningful than anything you've ever given before in the past. They may be very simple, but they will have more meaning and be more appropriate than ever before. And as you hit December, there's a sense here of you attract to yourself new people. There are new projects coming in here. It's a time in which December is a time where you find inspiration in strange and unusual places, and it's very exciting for you because you're finding that the next year coming is going to be even more abundant than the year that you have just now completed, and it's almost like you're off and running. Again, the element of a journal is very, very important. Please, please, please get one. It can be, a loose leaf binder. If you get a really elegant one, you probably won't write in it as much as you would in something that is very simple. Keep a record. This is going to be a year that turns your life around and opens doors for you that you never even knew were there. Okay?
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. See, it's more fun if you let a reader rip than to sit down and have a lot of questions.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so very much. Oh, wow. I'm happy.
You're very lucky. It will be up on YouTube later on. Please, everybody who's listening, please, everybody who's gotten a reading, please subscribe to the channel because we're really trying to push it to 1,000 listeners. So,
thank you, and Happy New Year.
To you, too. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okie doke. So we've got Mandy next. Hi, Mandy. How are you doing?
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, truly my pleasure. Because without you guys, there wouldn't be any show. No, actually, that happened once. The switchboard was down, and I didn't know if anybody was listening, and so I spent 2 hours reading the Globe, and it's funny. Most people say it was the best show I ever did. I didn't even know if anybody was listening. So it was really kind of it was exciting. Yeah, seriously. Okay, I'll be able to breathe here shortly. This is going to be a year in which you find a new balance within yourself. It's going to be a year that you bring your life back into a better balance, a better synchronicity, a better understanding of the focus and direction that your spirit is taking you on. You're very aware that your spirit has a plan for you. It doesn't always consult with you, but there's a plan, and you do move along the pathway. Oftentimes it feels like you just kind of want to sit back and saying, are you sure you know what we're doing? But what you've got here is a wonderful, exciting connection with your higher self. I do feel you talk to your higher self, whether you talk to it as though it were another level of you or a guardian angel or whoever. But there's a lot of dialogue going on between you and what the universe is sending your way. I feel it very exciting because it does feel as though you've established finally a balance that you've been looking for a very long time. So it means that this next year is going to be one that flows a lot more easily than the last year has progressed. It does feel as though there's a sense here of new understanding and greater understanding of the direction that you're going in. And as you get into the January timeframe, greater compassion and understanding for what you've been through to this point in time and the directions that you're going. There's a sense here of a new openness, a new direction, a new excitement for life. And as you get into the January timeframe, this new balance gives you greater strength, purpose, and direction. As you hit February, there's a sense here of commitment, and there's a commitment in many different levels within your life. Whether it's to people or projects or philosophies, you are committing yourself to moving ahead in new directions. And what I love about this is that you are ready to go in new directions in all aspects of life. So that again, while I've been talking to people about, don't repeat what you've done before, been there, done that, go in new directions. You've made that commitment. And as of February, it does feel as though you're moving into a new genre almost. February brings you into a place where you're not following someone else's pathway, you're forging your own. And it does feel as though as you get into the March timeframe, there's a sense here of greater freedom and understanding for you. I feel you letting go of those things that have held you back and allowing yourself to just move forward with a greater sense of freedom. You're not allowing others to determine your direction. You're deciding to take charge of it yourself. And it may surprise some people. It may insult a couple of people, but I think they need insulting. And it does feel as though you are finally taking control of the direction that you're going in. As you hit April, there's working on new insight, new directions, new groups. I see groups. I do feel that there is great strength on a spiritual level here, so that you're going to find a lot of spiritual stuff coming up, metaphysical stuff, spiritual philosophy, things like that. And you're going to be able to apply them to your everyday reality so that it enhances, it glows, it makes things more exciting and gives you a better sense of direction. I feel you working very hard when you come into the month of April, and yet it seems to generate a great abundance on many different levels to you within your reality. It's also a time as you come into the May time frame where the home becomes the focus, and it feels as though the home has been slightly fragmented, and in that fragmentation, there's been a frustration. It does feel as though there is a sense here of you getting your act together, and everything seems to be flowing, beautifully. As you get into the June time frame, there's a sense here of power and insight. I feel that there's a sense of control, that you take over control of new directions and you allow yourself to sort of expand and take on the power that has always been yours, but you've been reluctant to hold on to it. The summer looks phenomenal. It feels as though there's a duality. So as you come into the July time frame, 2 new directions you're going into, new projects that you take up, and they tend to open you up to a greater spiritual understanding of not only you, but your direction, and not only that, but an understanding of your connection from past lives to the people that are closest to you. A greater sense of understanding and a greater freedom of understanding that allows you to make changes and choices that are going to be most profound. There's a sense of harmony and understanding as you get into August, a new opening, a new direction, there's a flowering here that is really, it's magnificent. And it means that you're finally, instead of just sending things out, you're allowing things to come into you and allowing that energy to come into you to flow with your own energy and enhance you more greatly. A greater sense of freedom and healing as you get into the September time frame. There's a sense of you letting go and allowing yourself to flow more with the spiritual energy that opens up creativity in the October time frame, which is absolutely profound. And I'm rushing here because the last 2 months of the year are spectacular. November has you crossing a threshold into new levels of understanding of this and other dimensions. In other words, you've blown open a portal of understanding as far as your spiritual energy goes. And as you get into the December time frame, this brings massive changes into your life. And they're all good. It just means that you are shifting and changing directions. This is a year that you tie up loose ends, you make ready to become a new person, and you absolutely become a new person. You don't lose your mind and find another one or anything like that. But you become a greater person than you are now, and it does, I have to tell you, you are a gift to anybody who is in your life and connected to you at this moment in time. And as this year flows on, we're going to find that there are new levels of understanding and new directions that are going to open to you that will change your life so amazingly that it's going to be gangbusters. It's just gangbusters. It's time for excitement. It's time for laughter, joy, and celebration. It's time for being rewarded for a lot of the things that you've done that you haven't been given credit for. I just got the notice that we're about to go off the air. I am so sorry I couldn't go on for longer here, but I want to thank you so much for calling.
No, thank you. I appreciate your words.
Take notes.
Most definitely. I'll hold you to it, Barbara. Happy New Year.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, everybody. I'm afraid that ties us up. Wish I could have done more. But thank you for calling. Thank you for being there. Thank you for sharing your evening with me and Jeannie. And please check out the YouTube channel. I know I'm pushing this, but we're so close to 1,000. I really want to get there. So thanks for being with us. Thanks for sharing your time with us. Have a great, happy New Year, everybody. Good night.